The Mariners laid an egg in Baltimore, but they can quickly flush that this weekend against a struggling Mets team. More on that and some roster moves they should make coming up here on the Locked On Mariners podcast. Colby, hit it.
You are Locked On Mariners, your daily Seattle Mariners podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Ahoy, sailors. It is Friday, August 15th, 2025. This is Titan Gonzalez and Colby Patnode for the Locked On Mariners podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. This episode is brought to you by 5-Hour Energy Transfusion. Go to 5hourenergy.com today and use my promo code LOCKEDONGolf to receive 20% off your order. Only valid through September 30th. Order transfusion flavored 5-Hour Energy shots today. And as always, if you want to hear from me and Colby even more and help support the show, you can check out our Patreon. All you have to do to check that out is click the link in the description of this episode. On today's show, Colby has 4 roster moves the Mariners should consider making, and who knows, maybe they've already made a couple by the time you're watching this. We'll also get you set for this weekend series with the Mets. But we quickly got to talk about what happened the last couple days. The Mariners have finished their season series with the Baltimore Orioles, one of the worst teams in the American League, with a record of 1-5 after losing 2 of 3 in Baltimore. It's obviously a weird series. It was very hot and muggy and rainy, and a couple of the games got delayed, and we didn't even know if they were going to finish that game yesterday, and they probably shouldn't have pushed it, but whatever. The Mariners tried to come back in that one, fell short by a couple of runs. It was a really bad series for the offense. They only scored 7 runs against the worst pitching staff in all of baseball. Particularly struggling against Sagano and Kramer was very frustrating to watch. Very disappointing after what we had seen over the course of this homestand from this new look Mariners offense. I guess the silver lining from this series was you got a great start out of George Kirby in game 1, 7 shutout innings from him. And you actually got 6+ innings out of Logan Gilbert. So that's nice to see. Obviously against an Orioles lineup that traded quite a few guys at the deadline, but still, you know, they got guys like Gunnar Henderson and Jordan Westburg in this lineup. But still obviously not a murderer's row of a lineup, but nice to see Logan give you what you want out of Logan on, you know, a start-to-start basis. And nice to see George, you know, go 7 scoreless and continue his streak here of really nice starts. And 37% called strike plus whiff rate was awesome. But yeah, really no way around it. Just a terrible, just incredibly disappointing series. Hopefully they're able to flush it. It doesn't really become a huge problem unless this continues to snowball. So they have an opportunity here to stop the bleeding, but that losing 2 of 3, again, we talked about this last week, the struggles against below 500 teams. This cannot continue to happen. And it happened once again. And it makes you want to pull your hair out.
They do not play well against bad teams. They do not play well in empty ballparks. And frankly, that's, to me, indicative of some kind of leadership problem here, or some kind of, culture problem here, because the fact that this team, when there's 30,000 people in the ballpark and things are pumping, like, they play really well and they beat these good teams and they have winning records against good teams. They play really well in one-run games, and then they go on the road to, you know, the Sacramentos and Baltimores, and they're going to Tampa pretty soon in these empty ballparks where there's just no energy and they have to create their own, and they are physically incapable of doing it. This team doesn't do it. Like, we know they don't do it because we have at this point 22 games, something like that, of data that shows us who they are. This is exactly who they are. This is who they have been for the entire year. The worse the team they play, the worse the attitude, or the worse the energy there is in the ballpark, the worse they play. And that is just not acceptable, especially down the stretch where you're going to have these limited opportunities to play these bad teams. And, you know, it's, again, you hope it's a right. You just write this one off and you say, oh, well, you know, it's baseball. Sure, it's baseball. But when you've seen it time and time again from this team all year, and when you look at what this team has done and how they've missed the playoffs each of the last 3 years or 2 years and the year before, they actually made the playoffs. So 3 of the last 4 years where they've missed it by a game or two. It is frustrating to see this level of effort. And look, when I say effort, I don't mean they're not trying hard. I just mean that they're not playing well. And you have bad at bats like they did all week in Baltimore. And you got absolutely destroyed by a couple of really bad pitchers, but you weren't even having good at bats. You weren't working counts. You were just up there swinging at the first pitch and popping it up, and you're like, oh well, whatever. Like, it just seemed like there was a lack of detail, a lack of care in the preparation here and of the game plan here. Like, they just completely went against who they've been since the All-Star break. They were just swinging at everything, and they just weren't doing it. It just didn't look like they were all that interested in playing these games. And I get that it's hot. I get that it's muggy and it's humid and there's rain and all that. You got to rise above that, man, because that's nothing compared to being down, 2-0 in a best of 5 going up against the Detroit Tigers or the Houston Astros and like Tarek Skubal's on the mound. Like, that's nothing. That's child's play. And they haven't done it all year. This isn't a one-off. This isn't like, oh, this is just an outlier. This has been who they've been all year. The worse the team they play, the worse they play. And when it's compounded by no energy at the ballpark, lack of fans, just kind of these midweek series against these awful teams, they always lay an egg. And again, they can just turn up the intensity here against a couple of really good teams or really talented teams again in the NL East. And if they could salvage this road trip, get back home, again, you don't have to go 9-1 every 10 games. You don't have to. You can go 4-6 in a 10-game stretch and be fine, but you can't let it snowball. You can't let this series snowball, and you're coming home, and all of a sudden you're like, oh well, we just went 2-7, 3-6 on a road trip because we couldn't beat Dean Kramer and Sagano in Baltimore against that terrible team in front of 11,000 people. You cannot let it snowball. Last year they did. They absolutely. Yeah. This is a new team. It is a new test, but they need to stop the bleeding. It needs to happen tonight because, again, this thing does start to snowball on you. Nothing you did this trade deadline is going to matter. So they need to pull their heads out. They need to play better. And, I'm not going to take the excuse that like, oh, well, Dean Kramer was really good. No, he wasn't. You sucked. Sagano was really good. No, he wasn't. You sucked. You want to give it to Trevor Rogers because he's been on a heater? Fine. But if you're built on scoring runs and you're built on look at our offense, look at our juggernaut offense, look at how deep our lineup is, you should beat a guy like Trevor Rogers. So you were, I don't know, 1.5 foot away from getting swept by the Orioles for the second time this year. That is a red flag. Yeah, well, yellow flag, right? Not quite a red flag, but it's not something that we should just sweep away and be like, oh, that's baseball. Not always.
Yeah.
Get it figured out tonight.
Yeah. To your point, their last 3 series against the 3 worst teams in the American League, they lost 2 of 3 to the A's in Sacramento. They swept the White Sox, and then they lost 2 of 3 to the Orioles. What's the difference between one of those series compared to the other 2? The one that they swept was at home, where the ballpark was full of energized people from the trade deadline, Ichiro weekend coming up, all that stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
The other 2 on the road in places where those fan bases have given up on this season, rightfully so.
Yep.
And obviously Sacramento is its own thing as well.
Yep.
So this ultimately falls on the shoulders of the offense, and hopefully they can get it together. And hopefully this is just a little bit of a hiccup. And what we saw over the course of the homestand is who they ultimately are. This was just an outlier series. And look, that's going to happen. Outlier series are going to happen even to the best offenses. Some of the best offenses in the game, they are going to struggle against bad pitchers sometimes. It happens.
Yeah.
But you have to flush it. You have to ball this thing up and throw it in the trash and move on. Get it going here. And the Mets can pitch. So it's going to be fascinating to see how that plays out. And we'll talk about that a little bit more later on. But now let's get into your 4 roster moves you think the Mariners should make in just a moment. But first, a reminder, this episode of the Locked On Mariners podcast is brought to you by 5 Hour Energy. All right, folks, it's time to fuel up and turn it up with 5-Hour Energy Transfusion. It brings the bold grape, ginger, and lime flavor of your favorite golf drink, minus the alcohol, into a quick, energizing shot. Whether you're sinking birdies or just making memories with friends, this one's a hole-in-one for your energy game. And let's be honest, some days on the course or off it, you just need that extra boost to stay sharp and energized. And golf is all about good times with good people. And good flavors, of course. The grape ginger lime flavor gives you the best parts of your clubhouse go-to without chasing down the bev cart. If you go to 5hourenergy.com today, that is the number 5hourenergy.com, you can use my promo code LOCKEDONGOLF to receive 20% off your order. This offer is only valid until September 30th on one order and cannot be used with other promotions. The code is not good on subscription orders. Whether you're meeting up with friends or trying to turn 18 holes into 36, get the energizing boost you need to power through. Order transfusion flavored 5-Hour Energy shots today. And you're listening to the Locked On Mariners podcast. For instant reactions following every Mariners game, be sure to tune in to the Mariners postcast with Anderson Hurst and Christopher Crawford, available on both the Locked On Mariners YouTube and podcast feeds. Because of the Eastern time start, by the time you're watching this, if the Mariners are going to make some roster moves, they probably have already made them. But Colby has 4 roster moves in mind that he would like to see the Mariners make. So, Colby, floor is yours.
Yeah, first one is pretty obvious. That's one I expect we see, if not today, sometime this weekend. That'll be Luke Raley being recalled from his rehab assignment, which means Miles Mastrobuoni needs to be sent down. Mastrobuoni hasn't started a game for the Mariners since, I believe, July 20th. Yes. It's been a while. And I know part of that time he was in AAA, but they're just not using him. There is no role for him. So he has an option left. So there is no reason not to send him down. So Raley over Mastrobuoni, figure out how to get him at bats, fine, whatever. But he is most definitely an upgrade on the bench over Miles Mastrobuoni, who you can still stash away in AAA and not risk losing him to waivers. So that one's an easy one. I expect that move to be made. Wouldn't be shocked at all. Next up is another move I expect to be made, although I don't know if this will be the exact move, but Logan Evans can be sent down. Bryce Miller's going to take his spot in the rotation. You don't have to call up Bryce Miller right now to replace Logan Evans. You do that on the day he starts. So you have an opportunity to carry an extra bullpen arm. You don't really use the bullpen arms you have, like the eighth guy. You don't use him at all anyways, but you can still have that extra guy just in case.
Yeah.
Who you call up is a bit of a,
I saw a tweet that said Taylor Saucedo's wife was on a flight to New York, so maybe Saucedo is getting the call there.
Saucedo's an option, certainly. There's some guys on the 40-man. Troy Taylor was with them on the practice squad. Or the taxi squad at the homestand. I don't know if he's on the trip with them. I didn't get any I didn't see any information about who they brought on the taxi squad. But yeah, if it's going to be somebody on the 40-man, Saucedo makes sense. He can give you some length out of the bullpen if you need it. Joe Jacques is also, I think, still on the 40-man.
Is he?
Haven't heard. I don't know. But the guy I would actually call up is Sarin Lau, who is started mostly for Tacoma, but he has started moving to the bullpen. He's pitched a couple times out of the pen, and he was fine. I liked what I saw when he was up here with the big club for his cup of coffee earlier this year. He can also give you some length out of the bullpen. He's a righty. Yeah. You already have 2 lefties. But yeah, it's Evans down, and then there's going to be a new pitcher up. Probably Sauce. I would go with Lau, but whatever. Evans is going to go down and then the Mariners are going to carry an extra man in the bullpen for the Mets series, and then Miller will be added in Philadelphia whenever he makes his start. So those 2 moves I expect to happen. Then you have kind of the ones that should happen, or one that should happen, and then one that is just a move I'd make. I don't know if the Mariners would make it. Dylan Moore, DFA. Leo Rivas called up.
Okay.
Now, you could go Samad Taylor here, but I like that Rivas can play shortstop.
Why not just keep Mastrobuoni in DFA?
I mean, you could. You could just DFA. I mean, you could, but I switched Moore because Leo Rivas is a switch hitter, and I still want that right-handed bat off the bench. I didn't want too many lefties on the bench, but
Dylan, real quick, I feel for the guy.
Yep.
Like I can tell his spirit is broken right now.
Yeah.
And how could it not be? I feel awful for him. He's the longest tenured Mariner, and it's just sad to see how this thing is playing out for him. But if he's going to hit the way that he has, which is I think is 2 for 62 since May 28th, then he has to be excellent in the other areas of his game that he brings value in, or that he has brought value in the past. And that's defensively and on the base pass. And as we saw the other night, he's not doing that.
No,
he's hurting. He hurt you on Wednesday.
Any game you're putting Dylan Moore in right now is the game you are telling everybody you're fine losing. We lose this game, we don't care. And that's the wrong attitude to have. I don't know how like, obviously I'm sure Dylan's well liked in that clubhouse, and I know it doesn't always work this way. And you're barely playing this guy anyways, but also that's another problem. Dylan Moore is so bad that you can't give other players days off because you don't have a viable replacement there. Yeah. But like, I don't know how you go into that clubhouse every day and be like, look at us guys, we're trying, and you have the worst player in baseball on your team. Because that's what Dylan Moore's been for 2 months or 3 months almost now. Like, he's been the worst player in baseball.
Yeah.
He provides nothing defensively now. He provides nothing at the plate. He actually hurts you by just having him on the roster. He hurts your offense. And he doesn't pinch run enough or really provide any value there. So you need to DFA him. And you know what? He probably clears. He probably goes to Tacoma. And you can probably have him back up in September. You can add him to a playoff roster if you want, just for the base running alone. So, but for now, you can't have it. You just keep running JP into the ground. You're going to run Gino into the ground. You're going to run these guys down because you don't have anybody you trust to play in those spots because Dylan Moore is unplayable. So it's a bummer. Like I said, I mad respect for Dylan Moore and the fact that he's carved out a significant major league career for himself after being, toiling away in the minors for 6-7 years. Ultimate respect for the guy. He's not a major leaguer, and this isn't a charity. You have to produce and able to stick around, and he's not. He doesn't help you in any area of the game right now. And then the last one, I don't know. This one's probably not going to happen, but I think it's interesting. I'd call up Harry Ford, and I would DFA Donovan Solano.
So 3 catchers on the roster.
Yeah, because right now you're not even using – Donovan Solano has 1 start since they traded for Josh Naylor, and it was only because Naylor got hurt. Mm-hmm. Naylor needed a day off. So clearly not willing to play him at second. They're clearly not willing to play him at third. They're not going to DH him ever. Like you cannot have right now. The Mariners are employing a 1-man bench, and that 1 man is the backup catcher.
Yeah. So we're at the point in the season now where you're okay with Harry not playing that much.
Yes.
Okay.
But it's not even really because I don't have to have Harry up for the entire time. Right. I'm also to the point of the season now where it's like, hey, look, can I give Harry Ford the Mitch Garver start that he gets once a week? And then can I DH Garver when I want Polo, or can I DH Ford when I want Polo to play second for Cole Young? By the way, Polo hasn't been that good this month. So it's not like he absolutely has to be in the lineup. I mean, he's been good overall, but this month, about 10% below league average. But I'm to the point now where it's like these guys aren't going to play, I want something useful on my bench. And a first base only who doesn't hit lefties, who you're never going to use against righties over Josh Naylor, who doesn't play second, doesn't play third, doesn't play in the outfield. There's just no value. Donovan Solano is worthless. And right now the Mariners are employing 3 guys that they will not and really cannot play. You cannot play Donovan Solano. You cannot play Dylan Moore. You cannot play Miles Mastrobuoni for different reasons. There's different reasons why you can't play all 3. But the bottom line is, like I said, the Mariners are employing essentially a 10-man offense. And one of those guys is Mitch Garver, who has to be here.
Solano especially doesn't make sense because he's not a platoon bat. He doesn't hit lefties. He hits righties. It's a reverse splits guy.
Right.
And we've seen, like, when you put him in against a righty, he's hitting righties. He's hitting righties very well.
It's just, who do you take out of the lineup for him?
Yeah.
Maybe Polo a couple times a week. Like, maybe instead of using Garver as the DH or whatever, like they did against Rogers, maybe you use Solano. I mean, even though it's a lefty, maybe you put Polo out at second base, and instead of Garver being the DH, you use Solano. I don't know. If you're not going to give the guy at bats, he shouldn't be here because he's a nothing. He's a nothing on the base pass.
Solano has 75 plate appearances against righties. He has 94 against lefties. His WRC plus against righties this year, 154.
Yeah.
His WRC plus against lefties, 28.
Yeah. Again, it's weird because it's not like Solano isn't producing. He's been pretty good since that Cubs series. It's just that he's not playing because he's not Josh Naylor. He's not that guy, and that's fine. But you can't, this is why I'm okay. Like, if you move on from Dylan Moore, you move on from Miles Mastroboni, and you want to keep Solano, fine. I really don't have a problem with that, because then you at least have 3 guys on your bench that you're willing to use. Right now, you have 1. But if we're gonna stick around with Dylan Moore, like, you need something else on the bench. I'll take the athleticism and the upside at that point over just like, well, if one player gets hurt, then we can use Donovan Solano there. Like, what are we doing? I don't like, you're only ever going to use him if Josh Naylor's shoulder acts up and you need a day off. He needs a day off. That's the only way to get this guy in the lineup. Then he shouldn't be here.
Yeah. By the way, Solano's 154 WRC plus against righties is number 1 on the team.
Yeah. So again, to me, the first 3 I mentioned, those are easy. Those are no-brainers. They should happen. Absolutely. Yeah. And if those 3 do happen, then I don't mind carrying Solano. I would really like to find a way to get him more at bats, particularly against righties. Yeah. So, maybe Josh Naylor DHs and Solano plays some first base a couple times a week against a righty, and Polo's just out of the lineup a couple times a week because he's struggling a little bit right now.
Yeah, Polo has a 59 WRC plus in the month of August.
Yeah. So, but if you're not going to use Solano, there's no point in having him on the roster. And who in Tacoma is more deserving than Harry Ford?
Yeah.
Maybe Samad Taylor. You could do that. But I think Ford's deserved a cup of coffee here. I think you can get him some at-bats. And again, it doesn't have to be a long-term thing. But I think there's something to paying off the work that Harry Ford has done. And again, on Solano, you could just wait until September and call up Ford then, or call up whoever then, and keep Solano. But if you're going to do that, there's 15 days until call-ups. The Mariners have, 13 games, 12 games, something like that. I would like to see Donovan Solano get at least 5 starts in that time span. Otherwise, you're just wasting the roster spot. Like, the Mariners bench is worthless right now because they've designed it to be that way and because they won't make moves. And again,
it's very clearly because they're waiting on Rayleigh and Robles,
right? But
in the meantime, maybe they're waiting for whatever this sweet spot is. They're waiting for to call Harry Ford up.
Well, as of today, there's 45 days left in the season. So as of today, no matter what, Harry Ford will be a rookie next year. Yeah. Like, he'll still maintain his rookie eligibility next year, which I don't think the Mariners care about in terms of awards or anything like that. But they don't have to worry about it speeding up his Super 2 or anything like that. And I don't know. But
I think the biggest thing here, though, and maybe that is playing a large role in this, but I would think that the biggest thing here is they want to try and give him opportunities to play every day.
Right. But how much more does he have to prove at AAA?
None, but I don't think
what is left for him. What is left for you, the Mariners, to learn about Harry Ford at AAA?
Nothing. I think it's just, do we really want to call this young guy up and just have him sit on the bench, 4 times a week?
You might, because right now you're using a roster spot on a guy who's sitting on the bench 7 times a week. And you don't really have another option that makes more sense than Harry Ford. Unless, you just want to be unless you want to keep Miles Mastroboni up and have 3 lefties on the bench, I guess that's a possibility. But and like I said, this is the one where it's like, look, if they do it, fine. If they don't do it, fine. I get it. Like, Ford's in one of those spots where it's like, if they want to call him up, I get why. If they don't want to call him up, I understand that reason too. But I don't know what's left for him to prove at AAA. And I don't know how you can kind of learn what still needs to be done for Harry. I don't know how you do that while he's facing AAA pitching. Like he needs to come to the big leagues, face some big league pitching, see where the holes are, and then he can go back and fix them. But I don't know.
All right, so the Mariners are heading to New York, specifically Queens, and then eventually Williamsport for a 3-game series with the New York Mets. We'll talk about that just a moment, but first, a reminder, this episode of the Locked On Mariners podcast is brought to you by Monarch Money. Ever check your bank account and wonder, where did all my money go? Between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, it's easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in, your personal CFO giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place, so you stop just managing your money and start building wealth. Instead of juggling multiple apps, you can use Monarch to check your finances, track spending, and even plan long-term goals. Managing money with your partner is smoother than ever. You can track shared and personal accounts, set goals, and stay on the same page without the stress. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use promo code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, promo code LOCKEDONMLB for half off your first year. And you're listening to the Locked On Mariners podcast. So the M's are set to face Peter Parker's favorite team, the New York Mets, for 2 in Queens and then 1 in Williamsport for the Little League Classic on Sunday Night Baseball.
I don't know if that's canonical or not.
It is canonical.
Is it? I mean, it makes sense. He is from Queens, but like,
he's literally from Queens. So
I know, but like, I don't know. There are people from.
I'm pretty sure
there are people from Seattle who claim to be Yankee fans.
All right, here. I'm pretty sure he wears a Mets hat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm pretty sure Spider-Man came out right around the time that the Mets came into existence, early '60s. So that would make sense. And again, he is from Queens. I'm just saying, I don't know, maybe he's like, maybe because his uncle, who he loves so much for a short time, was clearly lived there for, maybe he was a Brooklyn Dodgers
short time for us, not for him.
Like 15 years, relatively short.
By the way, here, I'm going to ruin the layout of the show to show this. See? There.
Let's go, Mets. Oh, that poor SOB. Anyways, that was a complete derailment, but
yeah.
What do you want us to talk about that series even more? Ugh.
No. So the Mets went on a 6-game winning streak in June, and then from that point forward, they have gone 19-33. They have really, really struggled as of late. They've lost a bunch of games in the month of August. They have won 2 times this month. Don't be the reason they get back on track.
Sounds like the perfect time to be facing the Baltimore Orioles version of the Seattle Mariners.
Now, they lost every game they played against 2 of the hottest teams in baseball, the Guardians and the Brewers. So that, I can kind of wrap my head around.
Before that, you were pretty hot before the last series.
But they also just lost 2 of 3 to the Ronald Acuna-less Atlanta Braves, and how bad that team has been this year. So
nice little bonus.
You are catching them at a great time. But again, don't be the reason that they get back on track.
Since when has it ever mattered who the Mariners play or when they play them? The Mariners do what they do, and either they're going to play well and probably win the series, or they're going to play like they did in Baltimore and get absolutely laughed out of the building. And the fear of the 1-8 road trip becomes very real going to Philadelphia. So we'll see. But again, good news, like you said, is you're catching them at the right time, if that matters, which it mostly doesn't for Seattle. And you are avoiding Kodai Senga, which definitely matters if you're Seattle. So although you're still facing some big dudes, some good pitching. So it's not going to be easy. Hopefully the Mariners come, more prepared and they use the energy of the ballpark and all that to their advantage, and then they find a way to take 2 out of 3. But some interesting pitching matchups this weekend, that's for sure.
Yeah. So tonight you're going to be seeing Sean Manaea, who we all remember from his days with the Oakland Athletics. He's making just his 6th start of the season, and he's been bad since returning. Now, both of those starts came against the Guardians and the Brewers, two of the hottest teams in baseball, but still, he gave up 5 runs to the Guardians, 4 against the Brewers. He has not been good. Saturday, you're going to see Nolan McLean making his major league debut. McLean down in the minors this year, specifically in AAA, 2.78 ERA, 3.99 FIP, 3.92 xFIP, 10 Ks per 9 on the dot, 3.92 walks per 9. And then Sunday, in Williamsport for the Little League Classic on Sunday Night Baseball, you're going to see Clay Holmes, converted reliever to starter, who the Mariners obviously had a lot of success against last year in the Bronx. They made that 4-run comeback against him when he came out of the bullpen. And he had a really nice start to the year. Now his numbers have kind of evened out. He's got a 3.71 ERA, 4.20 FIP.
Plus, it makes sense. He's well past a career high innings pitched at this point. Like, his first year making that transition, it's to be expected. And I think he's only gone more than like 5 2/3 twice in his last like dozen starts or so. So do have an opportunity there to get to that bullpen. The McLean one is interesting because by all accounts, he's a kind of a spin god. And we know that the Mariners against spin, could go either way. Yeah. And it's a major league debut, so the first time through the lineup, the advantage is definitely on McLean. So we'll see how they go. It's nice though that you're counteracting these pitching matchups with 3 of your best. So
so you got Castillo tonight, Wu tomorrow against McLean, and then Kirby and Williamsport. So this is obviously going to be a weird series, because it's not often that you have to travel mid-series to a different location. Now it's not that far, but going down to Williamsport, they also, the players also have some other obligations before the game. They got to hang out with the kids. I think they attend one of the little league games, something like that. They do a bunch of stuff before the game.
They play at 1:00 in New York.
Yeah.
Tomorrow. Is it 4:00 in New York? I don't remember what the local time is, but it is a earlier start on Saturday, and then they play at night.
It's 4:00 local time tomorrow.
Okay. So my guess is that they leave right after the game. They go to Williamsport. We looked this up. It's about a 3-4 hour drive, so it's probably an hour flight. Probably less than that, 45 minutes. I don't know, but and then I think they'll probably go to a little league game, one of the games in the morning. And then I think they do like autograph sessions and they hang out with the kids and all that.
Yeah.
I'm sure they have some ESPN interviews that they need to do. So it's not a typical, series, like you said, and it comes with some extra stuff that the Mariners really haven't had to deal with. I mean, the Mariners have not been put in prime time that often. No. Remember how big of a deal it was? They came last year to do Sunday Night Baseball out here, also against the Mets.
Yeah.
Series went well for Seattle last year, so hopefully this is a repeat.
Wasn't that when they announced it? They were like, "Oh yeah, by the way, they're playing in the Little League Classic next year." I think they did that. I don't know.
Maybe I thought they waited till the winter, but who cares? Either way.
Yeah.
You remember the last time the Mariners played the Mets?
It went very well. Yeah, it went very, very well, especially on
right
Sunday
before
Night
they
Baseball.
went on that 1-8 road trip. That was the series right before that.
Yeah.
Maybe facing the Mets is exactly what the Mariners need, because it's not facing the Orioles.
Remember, they went 5-1 against the Mets and the Phillies that week.
Yeah.
Who are they playing after the Mets? Just saying, just putting that out there. Anyway, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But yeah, this Mets lineup, incredibly talented. It's Lindor, who's struggling a bit right now, but it's Lindor. It's Soto, who's not having a Juan Soto year, but he's still
really good.
He's still been very okay. Let's talk about that very quickly here, because I've seen nothing but so much discourse about Juan Soto. He didn't even make the All-Star game for some reason, and I think it's strictly just because of the discourse around him. He should have been an All-Star this year. 252, 384, 494, 146 WRC plus. He's a 3.5 win player despite being a terrible defender. 19.5% K rate, 17.6% walk rate, 29 homers. Yeah, Juan Soto is incredible.
Yeah, dude's got a good shot to hit 40 homers this year. And he's already a 4.5 win player. So he's on pace to be 6 win player, possibly up to 40 home runs.
Yeah, like
have
Juan
a near
Soto
400 on base.
Juan Soto in his down year is what, the second best player on the Mariners
Juan
this year?
Soto, yeah, and it's only because the best players having like an astronomically
The
outlier
greatest
season.
catcher season of all time. Yeah.
Like Juan Soto's worst year is some Hall of Famers' best year. Like, yeah, the discourse on Juan Soto is ridiculous. And Mets fans, shame on you. Shame on you.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's Lindor, it's Soto, it's Alonso.
It's Brandon Nimmo. Jeff McNeil's having a good year.
Yep.
Cedric Mullins always seems to be a pain in the Mariners side.
I can't wait for him to go 2 for 4 against the Mariners with 2 2-run homers and rob a homer.
Brett Beatty's probably going to haunt me because of what I said this offseason about him. Francisco Alvarez is a very good catcher. So, a lot of talent throughout this this Mets club. And
should be a good series.
Luis Torrens is also on this club.
The best backup catcher in Mariners history.
I'm sure that won't be relevant at all in this series.
Also one of the best defensive catchers in all of baseball, just like we all knew he would be someday.
Yep. So, and then obviously the bullpen, it's Owen Diaz.
Yep.
It's Ryan Helsley now. It's Tyler Rogers. So a couple big names added to the bullpen there to go along with. This is a team
that is way too talented to be playing the way they are.
Ryan Stanek is in this bullpen.
You just kind of hope you get out of town before they find it, because the Mets are a really talented team. They're going to make the playoffs. I'm not too worried about that. And they're going to be a factor when they do. So it's a good test for the Mariners, and hopefully they rise to the occasion.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for our show. Thank you so much for joining us here on the Locked On Mariners podcast. For Colby Patnode, I'm Titan Gonzalez. Be sure to give us a follow on Twitter at @LO_Mariners. You can follow me at Titan Gonzalez and Colby at CPAT11. That's CPAT11. We're also on Blue Sky. You can follow me at TDG, Colby at MLB Colby, and the show at Locked On Mariners. You can also find us on Instagram at Locked On Mariners. Have yourself a beautiful baseball day, and we'll see you next time. Peace.